Stranger's Wrath is a 3D stealth action platformer shooter wherein we play as the Stranger, a rough and tough bounty hunter who's the very last of his rare kind, and he intends to pay for a medical surgery to hide his unique biology, lest he be hunted by those who he normally hunts. Along the way, as is Oddworld fashion, the player learns a thing or two about the exploitative nature of capitalism, the destruction of culture, and in general why many things about profit-motivated society are bad, so we should try to make them better. The commentary is on the nose, as usual, but it has a bit of a slower burn this time. It feels a lot easier to get lost in the world, and the revelations come at a much more restrained pace. The Stranger starts the game largely indifferent to suffering and is mostly motivated by survival, but eventually awakens to his responsibilities as a guardian and savior to a dying people. And much like other Oddworld titles, there's also an abundance of style. The Stranger is perfectly voiced in tribute to the Wild West heroes he's inspired by. He's gruff and speaks in simple, deliberate language, but of course that shouldn't be mistaken for a lack of intelligence. He is clever and practical, far from simple muscle. All of these qualities make him the ideal avatar for the player to experience the game's unique, violent, and oppressive setting. If only the game would let you just experience it. I don't want to overfocus on the nitpicks in what is ultimately an exceptional game, but the hand-holding here was ramped up quite a bit. There are slow tutorials which halt gameplay to deliver text boxes, sometimes the game will flat out tell you how to fight the bosses if you fail too many times, and the Stranger monologues on occasion just to tell you out loud what you should be doing next. It takes me right out of the world, and it also conflicts with the gameplay's biggest strengths. You see, the game design in Stranger's Wrath is built around encouraging player agency. Every encounter with enemies feels like a massive puzzle, due to the semi-open nature of the environments and the multitude of options at the player's disposal. It reminds me a bit of Arkham and Metal Gear Solid, but this time it's also an FPS. There are many literal and figurative angles of approach, and each victory feels earned, because you arrive at the solutions through thought and skill. If you're good at FPSs, you can absolutely duck, weave, and blast your way to victory, or you can utilize the stealth and distraction mechanics to their fullest. Or you can do what I did and spend most of the game in third person running around the enemies and taking potshots at them when you think they might be vaguely distracted. I do like to make things harder on myself sometimes. My only real complaint about the design is that capturing enemies alive is too easy. In a game like this, where the enemies' lives rest on the choices you make, it should be really hard to be merciful. But if you're meticulous enough, it's not too tough on average, and you even get rewarded more for bringing them in alive. I know that not every game strives to make meta-commentary on human morality, but I would like if it were far more difficult to play the good guy in this game in particular. Overall though, Stranger's Wrath is an incredibly unique blend of genres which, when coupled with Oddworld's style, create the most approachable, creative, and finely tuned entry in the series.